What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. So today, we're going to be talking about the poll that you guys may have seen that I uploaded onto Twitter and also on YouTube, on the YouTube community tab. Now, the main reason why I wanted to make this poll was because typically after a big Sugo-Fest, I usually like to do like a Sugo-Fest roadmap and kind of discuss what are the future characters that are now going to be coming out in the future for One Piece Treasure Cruise Global. We already know, Roger and Odin, pretty significant banner, and many people out there have used up pretty much all of their rainbow gems at this point to potentially get one or even both of the characters. So if you were lucky enough to get them, congrats. If not, well, there's still plenty of time to go ahead and pull on the banner, of course. But a lot of people are still now begging the question, should I even pull for Luffy and Sanji at this point? Because that, Luffy and Sanji is supposed to be the next big banner to have come out. But now that Roger and Odin have released, it really throws a spanner in the works as to where people want to be dedicating their rainbow gems. So in this video today, I'm going to be talking about all the characters that are coming, from here on out, that should be coming in different Sugo-Fest batches in the line, and giving my thoughts and opinions on where you should be potentially investing your rainbow gems, right? So it's interesting to see that, between both polls, there's over 7,000 votes here on the YouTube, and there's still, 7 hours or something to go here, which is kind of crazy. And then you've got this one here as well on Twitter, which, the poll numbers are actually pretty close, right? So the ones that I chose to put on here with Luffy Sanji, the Halloween batch, which involves Law, Mihawk, and Shanks. Then you've also got Kaido versus Big Mom, and then Sanji and Pudding. I didn't put V2, Vivi Rebecca, or Shirahoshi Mancherry because I feel like, a lot of people are probably still going to pull for that one anyway. But the thing about Sanji and Pudding is that they are like a super limited character. For those who don't know, Sanji and Pudding is a little bit of a wild card because they released on a Kizuna Clash Sugo-Fest, and they basically said, Sanji and Pudding is not going to be available on any other Sugo-Fest aside from Kizuna Clash Sugo-Fests moving forward. So that's going to be a bit of a weird one, and I don't know how I really feel about that. Well, I mean, I do know how I feel about it. It is really strange. I don't know why they're doing it. I can kind of understand Roger and Odin being super Sugo-Fest exclusives, but then also restricting characters to Kizuna Clash, and also maybe in the future even to treasure maps or something like that, or even Pirate Rumble. Like, I hope that is not a trend that moves forward. So let's go ahead and talk about this, right? So if we go over to the One Piece Treasure Cruise database, this is technically the next scheduled character to come out, which is Luffy and Sanji, right? I do still think this is going to be our anniversary Sugo-Fest. It's just a matter of them trying to fill in the gaps between that point. So I guess we'll wait and see how that's going to happen. But Luffy and Sanji, most people understand what they do at this point. They're just essentially one of the best characters in the game. On JP, they're top 3, I would say. Yeah, probably easily top 3. They're a really good rainbow captain. They have overheal mechanics. They heal. They have an HP boost to everyone. Their special ability is a rainbow 2.5 attack boost if you're at full health when you launch the special, or over full health. And also they change all orbs to recovery. They have a healing mechanic. Their switch effect is a great piece of utility as well. There's lots of really good things to like about this unit. Also, it's a Sanji and Luffy character, which means that you can have some of the better supports in the game on them. So lots of things to like here. However, the way that I look at things, right? The way that I think it is, now look, you may correct me here, but in my opinion, in my personal opinion, if you have Goldie Roger, you probably don't need to summon for this character. That's the way that I look at things. Now, as a content creator, I am going to summon on this banner when it eventually comes out. I am probably going to go to 20 multis or whatever step to get this character guaranteed. But look, if you were lucky enough to get Roger, you probably don't need a pull here. That's the way that I see things, because Roger is very similar to this character. Like, in a lot of ways, Roger is similar in terms of multipliers, in terms of what the character aims to do. But Roger, in my opinion, is going to be better in a lot of short form content, like Colosseums, events, raid bosses. Whereas, in my opinion, Luffy and Sanji are going to be better for high difficulty content like Garp challenges, Training Forest. Not saying that Roger can't do them, because he definitely can. 100% he can. But I think you're going to have an easier time clearing that type of content with Luffy and Sanji compared to, with Roger. But then again, look, the Sugo-Fest might be absolutely crazy and it might be worth pulling. But at this point in time, the way that we know what the characters are, if you have Sugo-Fest exclusive Roger, you likely don't need to pull for Luffy Sanji. That's the way that I see things. Now, remember, Luffy and Sanji isn't alone when he debuts. He comes alongside the Germa 66, which are a very powerful unit. I really do like this Germa unit. I love the way that they're actually designed. So the way they are designed is that you want to actually use them as a sub on your crew, because their special ability switches you into the captain spot. It gives you an orb boost for side characters. Obviously works very well with Roger, of course. And they actually have a really good super type special as well. 1.25 chain boost, which is like one of those ones that stacks with other chain boosts. It's really good. It locks orbs for 1 turn, transforms all side characters into super Sai. Their captain ability, when they become the captain in the middle of an adventure, they're super effective against all types. So they become like Douglas Bullet, but they've got a 5 times attack boost if the character has a Sai or tandem slot. So you can see there's lots of good things going on with this German unit. I really, really love this character. And then the Sweet Commanders, unfortunately, aren't anything amazing. I think they really missed the mark with this unit. They are a strength super type captain, so you know, you've got the Germa, which work really well with Roger, and then you've also got this character, the Sweet Commanders, which actually work pretty well with Odin. Their special ability give you a really high chain boost, 1.1 chain boost, strength attack boost, and then strength color affinity, all in one special. Their super type special, though, is not very good. It's only giving you some AoE damage and then -1 cooldown. It's pretty mid, honestly, but their captain effect is basically, it's a 5 times captain. You know, you need to continuously kill stuff every single turn. You know, if you don't kill stuff, it's 4 times, but as soon as you kill something, the next turn it's going to be 5 times boost instead. And then they have 10 turn despair removal as well, which is actually quite good if you're going to be using them like in a hybrid style with Odin, because you know, Odin being an HP booster of 1.5, anytime you get despaired, it's quite devastating. So being able to just completely resist it is obviously pretty huge. So, you know, all these 3 characters debut alongside each other, and I do think if you have Roger, you probably don't need to pull for Luffy Sanji. Now, you don't really need Germa 66, especially if you've got someone like V3 Law or someone like Odin, for example. You probably don't even need Germa either. And then you got the Sweet Commanders, which I don't think are super amazing. So, you get to a situation here where this Sugo-Fest doesn't really seem that enticing anymore. However, if you're one of those people, and there's many of you people out there that unfortunately did not get your hands on Roger, this is probably a character you want to try and get. However, there are still plenty of other characters that are going to be debuting around this character's release. Let's go ahead and have a look at some of them that you maybe potentially want to look at, right? The Halloween stuff. So the Halloween stuff is interesting because they are int super type captains, so they obviously have nothing to do with Roger or Odin in any facet, but Mihawk is an interesting one. He's an int super type captain, and you basically want to continuously hit perfects with him. He actually resists paralysis as a captain. Is he the attack booster? Yeah, he's the attack booster. He's an int attack booster, and if you hit 3 perfects, you get a bigger boost in the next turn. Reduces the rainbow shield by 10 turns. That's very useful. And the super type special is a basically 1 million bonus tap damage with this character's tap timing, which is pretty awesome. And then also we'll go ahead and change all orbs into matching, which is very impressive. Very, very impressive. Doesn't go through block orbs, doesn't lock them like Roger, but still very, very impressive. So that's pretty cool. And then you also have the Law, which also comes alongside the Mihawk. And Law, in my opinion, is a much more interesting character to talk about because he has a very unique mechanic that only this character has. Well, there are characters that have what he has, but this character is like the best at what he does. So he does everything like as per usual: attack boost, HP boost, reduces despair by 10 turns, which is good, and then deals 100 times the damage that he took in the previous turn as int damage to all enemies at the end of each turn. So if you take like 5 damage, multiply it by 100, obviously 500 damage is dealt as AoE. Now, of course, you're not going to be taking 5 damage. You're taking a lot more than that. So you get to a situation where you can repel like millions of damage just with his captain effect. It's very, very good. And then he also will be a 0.15 boost of attack per perfect that you hit. It's very similar to like V2 Lucci, for example, where every time you hit a perfect, the multiply goes up by a certain amount. So it's very similar in that sense. And then you've also got the special ability, which is an orb boost, and then after 1 turn, it's going to be a 2.5 orb boost, so you can use Mihawk and Law together for the huge attack and orb boost. And then also he will protect you from defeat for 1 turn, so you can protect yourself from defeat, and then you can go ahead and basically repel a bunch of damage back to the enemy. It's very, very good. His super type special gives him a 50% HP recovery, and then gives you super int characters. So of course you can heal back your HP, so you can basically tank more damage and inflict more damage to the opponent. It's very, very interesting the way they've built this guy. But it's like, do you want to pull for this guy who has a really unique mechanic and is kind of cool, or would you rather pull for, you know, Luffy Sanji? I think Luffy Sanji is a much better unit, but don't discount what this lore is able to do. And then you've also got the brand new Halloween Shanks, who I'm not the biggest fan of the way that they've tried to build him. He is another int super type character. They legit released 3 int super types back to back to back. But this guy is based on hitting perfects. Again, you need to hit your perfects, and every time you do hit a perfect, you get the higher boost, but you also get 0.5 recovery as well for every perfect you hit. He also gives you a small HP boost. And his special ability is very unique as well, in the fact that it gives you a color affinity to Slasher and Cerebral 2 times for 3 turns. Now that's very good, but the really weird thing about it is that he is an int-based captain, but his special ability is class-based. I do not like that at all. They should have made this very similar to like Legend Odin, where it's like boost color affinity of int, Slasher, and Cerebral by 2 times for 3 turns. That would make this character infinitely more useful. And then he says, if your crew has 4 or more int characters, gives you a 1.0 chain boost for 3 turns. So if you want to get the full benefit of this, you have to run 4 or more int characters, as well as having Slasher and Cerebrals. It's really weird. I don't know how I feel about this character. It's just super weird. It's weird, man. But his super type special is actually pretty interesting too. Changes all those orbs into matching, and then reduces the defense of all enemies by 100% for 3 turns. That's very good. And then gives you super int. So if you have a defense down conditional booster, you can really abuse it with this guy. Unfortunately, it doesn't go through like it doesn't go through immunities or anything. It would have been cool if it did that. Like, you know, get rid of these matching slots, but then make his defense go through all immunity buffs, and then probably make his special ability a conditional booster instead of color affinity. That probably would have made this character a lot better, but they really decided to go in such a weird way with this unit. It's very, very bizarre. But, you know, still, you know, not saying this character is bad, because this character is still very strong. It's just really uniquely built unit. I don't know, these Halloween characters are just very, very weird. I don't know how useful these characters are going to be in the future. Obviously, they're very good with their release, but this is not a batch of characters that you should be investing your gems into as much as people would like. You know, Shanks, Law, or Mihawk characters, probably not the best idea. But then we get to this, Kaido versus Big Mom. Now, I think many people understand how good this character is. The really interesting thing about Kaido versus Big Mom is that it's essentially pulling 2 legends in 1 unit. Now, you could say, oh, but dual units are basically that, right? Not really, because this is legitimately like pulling 2 different units in one, because when you select the unit for a team, you can choose, do you want to have Big Mom active, or do you want Kaido active? And both of which have very different effects. So both of which have very powerful captains, 5 times captain to 3 separate colors. They both have HP boosts. They both have orb changing mechanics, or orb boosting mechanics, right? So it gives you the high chance of tandem slots appearing, makes them beneficial. This is Kaido's captain effect. And then Big Mom has the makes recovery similar slots beneficial for all characters. And when you hit a perfect, you consume those recovery and similar slots, and also boost the chances of them appearing. So you can see across the board, very good captain effects. Like 5 times flat is no slouch, right? And then they've obviously got their really cool special ability, which is attack boost turn 1, orb boost on the following turn. They have decent orb manipulation by changing block, but then they both each have really unique effects with their versus special too, and both of which have different Pirate Rumble abilities too. So literally across the board, they are 2 separate characters in 1 unit. It's really, really cool. And, you know, Kaido is a phenomenal captain to run for very, very short form content like raids and Colosseums and events, because he gives you -2 cooldown at the start of the fight, as well as being a 5 times captain, as well as increasing the chance of tandem slots appearing. Like, Kaido is a beast at short form content. And then you've got Big Mom, who is more tanky, can heal. And then, you know, that obviously goes to show here with her, you know, versus mechanic effect as well, and Kaido just dealing a bunch of damage with that as well. Oh man, but I think Kaido versus Big Mom is probably the next character that you guys should be looking to invest your rainbow gems into. I truly believe this is going to be the next big character that everyone's going to be spending their gems for, just because due to the fact that I think that, you know, by having Luffy and Sanji active so close to Roger's release, I feel like a lot of people aren't going to have the gems or the drive to really go for Luffy and Sanji, compared to a character like Sanji and Big Mom, Kaido and Big Mom, which is going to be a little bit later past the Luffy Sanji release. So that's the way that I see things, and this is what I personally would suggest, and that's what it looks like you guys would also agree with. Kaido versus Big Mom honestly does look to be the most special and the most exciting and the most anticipated upcoming event that we can really expect to see in the future. So I'm really looking forward to this character's release because I think they're an absolutely monstrous unit. Monstrous unit. Now, outside of that, you also have the other characters here, such as the Vivi Rebecca V2, the summer, or not the summer, but the Christmas event. Both of these characters, do not get it twisted. Both of these characters are very, very good. And I wouldn't be surprised if many people spend their gems for them because they are both really cool units. I'm not going to go through their effects because I'm sure some of you guys already know what they do. And if you guys don't know what they do, I have made videos on my channel about them. But across the board, I do think these characters are actually really good. I don't think any of the characters that we've talked about in this video are inherently bad, but in my opinion, Kaido versus Big Mom is the one that most people out there should be investing. Now, we did kind of touch up on Sanji and Pudding a little earlier, and you know, not many people are that excited for them, but you got to remember that Sanji and Pudding are going to be a super restrictive unit that are only going to be available on Kizuna Clash Sugo-Fest, so take that as you will. This character is also no slouch. 5 times dual captain in their dual form, of course, to Fighter and Cerebral. Health boost, recovery boost, damage reduction, matching slots. It's such a powerful captain effect. Arguably one of the best captain effects in the game. They resist special bind on themselves with a special ability of healing, remove Rainbow Shield and Threshold completely, color affinity to the 2 classes they boost, 2.25 for 2 turns, fuse for 3 turns, switch effect to remove Despair, Paralysis, and Slot Bind on themselves, own orb through block into matching, and then recovers 25% of the damage that you took in the previous stage when you move to a new stage. This is essentially like the captain effect of V2 Katakuri and Legend Hawkins, where whenever you take damage, you heal a certain amount of that when you move on to the next stage. So every time you switch, you don't have to switch before moving on to a new stage, but as long as you've switched, you know, on a stage, whenever you move on, you will be healing back 25% of the damage that you took. So, I mean, with the captain effect like that and a switch effect like that, this is one of the tankiest captains in the game. And if you get a recovery slot, you're healing for absurd amounts because of their recovery boost. There's lots going on here. And I mean, just with seeing all this, I feel like there's definitely going to be people out there that are going to be super invested in this unit and want to try and get them, despite them being on a pretty mid banner overall. So, I mean, that's up to you at the end of the day. And it really does come down to what their banner is going to be like as well. But that's everything moving forward. But in my opinion, this is the one that you should be going for. Kaido versus Big Mom, in my opinion, is the next big Sugo-Fest to be going in on. But again, all of this can change depending on, you know, what the steps for the Sugo-Fest are going to be, what legends are going to be boosted, because look, as I said, I do personally believe Luffy and Sanji is going to be our anniversary Sugo-Fest. And look, because it being an anniversary Sugo-Fest with the upcoming Yoshi structure, who knows how it's going to be. If they have like legit only characters within, you know, the past 12 months of release pullable, it would be one of the best Sugo-Fests of all time, and you'd be stupid not to pull on it, especially if you are missing a lot of those characters, right? It really comes down to what the structure is going to be like, and that can really change a lot of things. You know, Kaido versus Big Mom could come out, and their Sugo-Fest could absolutely bomb and could be absolutely trash. You just don't know yet. But if we're just talking about the characters themselves, then yeah, I think Kaido versus Big Mom is the best bet moving forward. And who knows? Who knows, right? What if they make, you know, what if they make Luffy, Sanji, and whatever characters are available here? What if they make them available on Kaido versus Big Mom's banner? We just don't know yet, right? Or even Roger and Odin could be back. We don't know. Either way, that's going to leave it at that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video today. I appreciate everyone that went ahead and voted on the poll on YouTube and also on Twitter as well. Thank you so much for that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video today. And if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.